the darkest corner of Middle-earth, where the very air burns with malice, and the ground cracks under the weight of ancient evil, lies a realm so vast that armies of 10 could march for days, and still not glimpse its borders. Mordor the Blackland, the shadow in the east. When Tolkien crafted this nightmare realm, he created something far more immense than most realize today. We pierce the veil of shadow and reveal the true scope of Sauron's domain. And you'll never look at your own world the same way again. Mordor isn't just some distant fantasy. It's larger than entire nations that exist today, larger than kingdoms that have shaped our very history. Let's journey into the mathematics of darkness itself, establishing the scale. Before we venture into the shadow, we need to arm ourselves with knowledge. Tolkien, meticulous as any scholar, provided us with precious clues scattered throughout his writings. Through careful analysis of Tolkien's maps and measurements, cartographers have determined that Mordor spans approximately 140 square miles, or 360 km. This figure comes from the most detailed cartographic studies of Middle-earth, including the work of renowned talking cartographer Karen Wynne Fonstead. 140 square miles. Let that number burn in your mind like the fires of Mount Doom, for it is the key that unlocks the true horror of Sauron's reach. But raw numbers can't convey the vastness. To truly understand the shadow in the east, we must compare it to our own world, the Shia comparison. Let's start with something familiar to every Tolkien reader. The Shire, that green and pleasant land of the hobbits, covers 18 square miles, or 47 km. According to Tolkien himself, Mordor could contain nearly 8 shires within its ashen, embrace 8 peaceful lands of rolling hills and flowering meadows, all consumed by shadow. Every cozy hobbit hole, in every green field where Sam Gamey once worked, you could fit all of that 8 times over in the Black Land, and still have room to spare. This isn't merely a fortress. This isn't simply a stronghold. This is a continent of evil that dwarfs the homeland of our beloved hobbits' real world. Nations. Mordor, at 140 square miles, or 360 km, would completely engulf the entire nation of Poland, a European nation of 38 million souls, with cities like Warsaw and Krakow, forests and plains and mountains. All of it would fit within Sauron's domain. It's larger than the entire United Kingdom, England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland combined. 93 square miles, or 241 km, would disappear entirely into the Black Land, with room for Belgium as well. It nearly matches Germany. 138 miles, or 357 km, that industrial powerhouse of Europe, with cities like Berlin, Munich, and Hamburg, could almost entirely be consumed by the shadow of Barad-dûr. Another chilling perspective. Mordor is larger than Japan. All 4 main islands combined total only 146 miles, or 378 km. The entire nation that houses 125 million people could fit within Sauron's realm. Every soul in these nations, every child, every elder, every dreamer and builder, could fall under the dominion of the Red Eye. This is the scope of Sauron's ambition, made real. American state comparisons for those across the Atlantic. Let me paint this shadow in familiar terms. Mordor would completely engulf the state of New York, not just the city, but the entire Empire State, from Niagara Falls to Long Island, all 54 0 miles, or 140, 0 km of it, plus Pennsylvania's 46, 0 miles, or 119, 0 km, and you'd still have room left over its just slightly smaller than Montana, that big sky country, at 147, 0 miles, or 381, 0 km. Imagine that vast expanse of plains and mountains. But instead of open skies, an endless canopy of smoke and ash, California covers 164, 0 miles, or 425, 0 km. Mordor would claim 85% of the Golden State from the Oregon border, nearly to Los Angeles, most striking of all the entire eastern seaboard, from Maine to Georgia, spans roughly 140, 0 square miles, or 360, 0 km. Every major East Coast city, Boston, New York, Philadelphia, Washington, D.C., Atlanta, all the centers of American power and culture consumed by the Dark Lord's influence. What did it truly mean for Frodo and Sam to cross this wasteland? They traversed a distance equivalent to walking from London to Rome from Paris, to Warsaw from New York City, to Denver, not along comfortable roads with inns and provisions, but across a hellscape of ash and stone, where the very air seeks to poison your lungs and the ground burns beneath your feet. For perspective, if you drove nonstop at highway speeds across Mordor's width, it would take you nearly 4 hours of unrelenting shadow of orc towers and slave camps of sulphurous pools and razor-sharp stone. Sam and Frodo walked this distance in a land designed to kill hope itself. The eucatastrophe, the sudden turn to joy at Mount Doom, becomes all the more miraculous when you realize they achieved it in a realm larger than entire civilizations. The implications, this vastness, reveals the true genius of Tolkien's vision. Sauron wasn't merely a dark wizard in a tower. He was the ruler of a realm that could match the greatest empires of our world. Consider the logistics alone: feeding armies across such distances, maintaining fortresses separated by hundreds of miles, coordinating the movement of millions of orcs and slaves across terrain that would challenge modern militaries. The industrial might required to arm such forces, the sheer administrative complexity of governing such a realm. Sauron wasn't just powerful, he was running a dark civilization that rivaled Rome at its height. This is why the War of the Ring was never truly hopeless. Against such overwhelming scale, victory could only come through the smallest of agents, carrying the smallest of objects to the one place where size meant nothing. Conclusion: the next time you read of hobbits venturing into the Black Land, remember this: they entered a realm larger than modern nations, vaster than great kingdoms, more extensive than the territories that house tens of millions in our own world. Mordor was not just a destination, it was a continent of despair. And yet, it fell not to the mightiest armies or the greatest kings, but to the smallest of peoples carrying the greatest of burdens in our world of vast nations and sprawling empires. There's a lesson here. Sometimes the greatest victories don't come from matching scale with scale, but from finding the one small point where everything changes. For even the vastest shadow can be conquered by a single flame. Until next we meet by the fire of memory and law, may your journey be free of shadow, and may you never underestimate the power of the smell